Good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, June 22nd, and I have just finished reading and commenting on and grading all the descriptions of current situation documents which you posted. And in this video, I wanted to summarize briefly the comments on some of the issues that I saw across the board that are not specific to every specific particular document, but are rather kind of common concerns that I have and common things we need to keep in mind as we move forward. So again, every team has received fairly extensive comments from me, both in their Google Docs and also in SpeedGrader, so go ahead and check those out and ask me any questions about them you might have. I wanted to bring up a couple of things here which are important as we move forward, regardless of your team and your project. One thing that I saw in all four projects is this kind of willingness to move forward towards articulating a solution to the problem before fully describing the problem. Remember that the name of this document is Description of the Current Situation, and so the purpose of this document is to explain, describe and explain and justify what the problem is in full, in a convincing manner, in such a way that your readers, at this point it's me, but at some point it's your client and the funding agency or whoever holds the purse strings will understand why this problem is actually a problem. So in most cases, I saw attempts at doing that description, but unfortunately in some cases the descriptions were quite short and quite kind of casual. In one or two cases, there was one sentence saying, here's the problem, and then the document would move on to saying, here's how we're going to solve it. Again, the purpose of this document is to describe, explain, and justify the existence of a problem. Everything else goes elsewhere. Everything else goes in the actual proposal that you will write later on. So keep that in mind. The other thing to consider, it's not really necessarily a problem, but be really careful with the amount and kinds of specialized language that you use. Your audience may or may not have the stomach for all that. And I'm not necessarily talking about myself, but again, remember that keep in mind that your client and your funding people may or may not be willing or interested in or able to stomach and digest, for example, multiple acronyms. In some cases, I felt like I was getting lost in acronyms and I had to constantly go back and forth and check and see if I'm getting the right acronyms in my head to understand what the message of the document was. In a couple of other cases, there are good attempts at summaries of academic research. And as I said on the comments, if you're writing to me or someone else in the academic world, that'll probably work fine. If you're writing to a business organization, they may not be used to those kinds of extensive academic syntheses, and so they might require you to do something quicker, briefer, less specialized. So keep that in mind. Again, it may or may not be a problem, but again, you need to think about your rhetorical situation and decide what works in that situation for that particular audience. Remember, when it comes down to it, when a funding agency or a person who decides on whether to give you the money or not looks at your proposal, they will find a way. If they don't like something, they will find a way to put it in the trash pile. So you have to be really careful about understanding what they need, what their expectations are, what their level of expertise and knowledge is on this subject. And remember that you're facing a very skeptical audience in any case, almost any case, when you're writing a proposal. And so it is on to you and it is up to you to explain, justify, describe fully, and say it in such a way that does not require, however horrible it might sound, that does not require too much thinking and too much checking on the part of the funding agency to decide whether to fund your proposal or not. Lastly, None of you got full marks on the revisions because I thought while the revisions were solid improvements over the first draft in most cases, they weren't perfect. They weren't excellent yet. And so what I've decided to do is towards the end of the semester when we assemble the full project, we will do another round of revisions where you will be able to go back to any portion of the project, including the description of the current situation, and revise it further. And if those revisions improve the document, then you can make up some or all of those points that you did not earn this time. The purpose of me doing it this way is to encourage continuous revision, continuous rethinking of the problem, and continuous iterative look at writing, which is how writing works. It's non-linear, it works in cycles, it works in iterative stages. If you have any questions about that, let me know and I will be able to explain in more detail when and how it will happen. Finally, I'm offering all of you the opportunity to meet virtually, meet with me face-to-face in Skype or Google Hangouts or whatever else you might prefer in the next week or so to either discuss my comments on these documents and or to plan for the future. I think in a couple of cases I was pretty clear that I would like to meet with a couple of teams to kind of help them resolve some issues, but in some cases we can probably do with or without, but the opportunity is there. So if you would like to, let me know. We'll schedule something sometime that works for everybody. Okay, thank you again very much, and I look forward to reading your reflection posts tonight, and I will have comments to those probably by tomorrow. Thanks very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.